are going to build some actually super frames. Right, so this is your top bar. I generally start by taking the wedge off, which is this bit here. So I take Mr. Stanley's sharp knife, just put the blade down in there and cut along. I know people push them off with their thumb just like that, and it all works, it's all fine. But there's always going to be a certain amount of witness on it. I mean, I will shave that off with, again, Mr. Stanley's wonderful invention. So we then fit the sidebars.
With the groove on the inside.
With the groove, that groove there goes towards the middle, so that should go on there like that. And that one again with the groove to the middle goes on like that. Just help it home with a hammer. I take a couple of pins, a pin, and I put one in to the flat side. Now I'm going to try and put this in on through the chamfered bit. Also, I think going in at an angle like this probably makes it more of a mechanically correct joint, actually, because you're going
through a cross on you.
Through at an angle, so it's not going to be easy to pull out. Super frames, because they're only, however long that is, 6 inches, getting them absolutely square is not so important. If this were a 14 by 12 brood frame, then I would recommend that you put a set square in that corner and that corner to make sure the sidebars are actually square to the top bar, because it only has to be very slightly out at this end, yeah, and 12 inches further on it's a long way out. Yeah. So that is quite important. And then I take, gosh, that's a big one, a bottom bar, and you've got the step there, so we've got this bit is the sort of upstanding bit, so I put a bottom bar in on the same side as that,
into those grooves,
into those rebates. In the old days, a lot of beekeepers used to put both bottom bars in and then use one pin across like that. Obviously, you know, through the wood, and yes, it works, it holds them both in, it saves a couple of nails.
Yeah.
It would be difficult to get them out to change. You might want to change the foundation, you know, if this might get damaged, and you might want to put another sheet of foundation in and reuse the woodwork. If you've nailed that way, you can't really get the nail out. If this way, it's going into end grain and there's no real stress on it.
Yeah.
Or there shouldn't be. So it's quite easy to just knock the bottom bar out if you want to replace the comb. So there's me pack of 10 sheets of foundation. Right, so we have a sheet of foundation ready wired, embossed with the hexagons, half a hexagon out on it, opposite sides. Bend these 3 wire loops over at more or less right angles like that, and that bit goes into the frame, and I tend to slide the stuff down the grooves. Other people just bow the foundation and feed it in like that. Generally try and center it so that there's a more or less equal bit of gap on each side in the grooves. I then put the wedge in, which is that one, and it's generally quite a tight fit, so sometimes you have to bow it out a bit, but you have to be a bit careful because you don't want to push it so hard that it makes a hole in the foundation, or your finger slips off and goes through. And in this case, because it's slightly bent, I'm going to do the one in the middle first. Generally speaking, it doesn't really matter.
And you get that lined up with the...
And I put that in the middle of the loop of the middle wire.
Yep.
So you can actually see the end of the loop just there, so in between those two. And again, at a slight angle, not too much, but a slight angle, so that you're kind of driving it towards the existing top bar woodwork.
So we're putting a pin in where every single, where the wire is.
So that's holding that in.
Make sure you put in your second bottom bar and align it so it's flush with the side of the side bar, and use a hammer if you need to, just to align it in, and then give it a little tap on the top just to get it in the groove, and then hammer your nails into the bottom bar vertically as Roger's doing here on each end. And that is it. You've actually successfully put a super frame together